reaching up. And down. And up and out. And turning the head. And clasping the hands behind the back, straightening the arms, pulling the shoulders back, and rotating the head. And then holding the elbows behind and going the other way with the head. And then putting the hands on the back. So it's almost like a corset. You're sort of putting the hands on the back and just pushing down a little bit and really pulling the shoulders back. So you're even more proud and erect than the other two versions of the hands behind. And then just roll the head again, whichever way you want. And the other way. Wind it down. And then the hands back round to prayer. And now the hands up and out again. Turning one hand over and turning the head. And, and the arms. And the shoulders as well. And then gradually bring the hands in. Till you're doing the figure of eight exercise in front. And then just reach up. So we're just making the top of the figure of eight bigger. So it becomes the reaching up exercise, but figure of eighting as well. And then reaching forwards with it, but again, figure of eighting. And then turning to the side with it. Same idea. Reduce it until you're just figure of eighting again for the heart. And really feel that the figures of eight are sort of three-dimensional, like an hourglass. So there's a sort of sensuality to it. There's a depth to it, not just a figure, not just a diagram. And then let it sink down into the belly, like it's going down a tunnel or a spiral staircase into like a dark dungeon. And then let it ascend again into the heart. So think of this like the ballroom, and there's a little orchestra, and there's all these beautiful couples waltzing. So it's light and bright and cheerful. And then let it come up. Again, it has to constrict a little to get up the throat. And then into the head. Let the jaw loosen. And just feel this movement, this energy. So it almost makes you feel giddy or woozy. And the eyes tend to blur. And then let it come back down into the heart. And then just into prayer. And then placing the hands on the back again. So the muscles in the back there are just sort of tightening a bit to give you this feeling you've got this corset of muscle that's holding everything together and in, and also squeezing your chest, your thymus, particularly upwards. So giving you like a really good posture, like the posture of a ballet dancer. They have these really flat backs and proud chests. It's the posture that you would need if you really wanted to let your energy out, like a singer or an orator. They have to declaim and reach the back of the audience. So they needed really good postures and strong voices and open chests. And then bring the hands back round. And now just feel the down chin, feel it drawing the hands in. And just feel it because the structure of the body, the arms, the more this center draws in and pulls the hands together, the more the shoulders want to drop down away from the neck. So the contraction here helps an expansion in the chest. And I have to make sure I keep the back strong. So I'm still feeling the hands on the back, pushing this upwards so that it can just pop out at any instant. I don't need to make a postural adjustment to let my energy out. So this is contracting, this is expanding, and this is empty. So this is just, it's empty of any thoughts or feelings. So it's just the room that you're in, the space, and it can just reach wherever it wants. Just send your mind wherever. And then let's try the peripheral vision. So eyes fixed. And we just want to take the hands back a bit so that they really are right on the edge. Also, you can't tell their hands, you just see the faintest movement right on the edge of your vision. And then the hands into prayer opposite the forehead, splitting the vision. So the left eye only sees to the left, the right eye only sees to the right. And then just slowly down. And then again, pulling back. Again, feel those hands on the back. And reaching. Down. And then the thread on the top of the head. And just see the hand. Yes. So you can see it sort of in your peripheral vision here as it's coming up. But then there's a point where you lose it. And so the mind will naturally build a picture of what's actually happening. So you're seeing this action in your mind's eye. And now let's try those points again down the midline of the body. The first of all, just bring the hand up and touch the very top of the head, the crown of the head, where that thread comes out of with your middle finger. Just the gentlest of touches, just to get a little bit of a tingle there. And then lift the finger and now bring it to the fontanelle. And then bring it down to the hairline. And then to the middle of the forehead, the third eye. And then between the eyes, on the bridge of the nose. And then down, halfway down the slope of the nose, where there'd be a lump if you'd broken it. And then down to the very tip of the nose. And then underneath the top of the upper lip where it joins the nose, the philtrum. And then down to the top of the bottom, the top of the lip bit. And then between the lips. And then the bottom lip, just where it becomes the chin. And then down to the hollow between your lip and your chin. And then the dimple. And then the point of the chin, so it's slightly underneath. And then back to the fold where the chin hits the throat. And then down to where the Adam's apple would be, approximately. So you can feel the windpipe and you can feel the vocal cords. If you hum or sing or speak, you can really feel it buzzing in your finger. And then down to the sternal notch, so the soft bit just above the bone. And then down to the thymus. a sort of lumpy ridge at the top of the sternum, and then down to the mid-heart, and then the deep heart between the nipples, so that the xiphoid cartilage, and down to the solar plexus, and then all the way down to the navel, and then the dantian, 1.5 inches beneath the navel, and then you have to imagine these, so down to the pubic bone, and then right underneath to the perineum. And then if we had time, we'd do the same thing with the other hand. But let's just finish now. So just again, just feel the dantian gathering, concentrating. The shoulders are falling away from your neck, relaxing. And this is just open. It's just open and empty, bright and empty. It's difficult when when you meditate, we tend to impose an image of what we think meditation should be, this sort of serious, blinkered. And we don't really want that. Each center is quite different. And this center, we just want it to be open. We don't want to have an image of what we're doing in the head. That's in the body, if it's anywhere. And this is just open and just almost looking around aimlessly. Yeah. So when you see someone meditating really well, you really do get a sense that their head is just, it's not functioning, it's just empty of anything. Is all it is just pure consciousness expanding into the universe. Let's just start a bit of bouncing. And then alternating the arms. And a little bit wider. And a bit wider again. Basically, you just slowed it down, but we're moving from side to side, from leg to leg, and getting the empty leg, the straight leg, bending to move me. Just lift the heel a little, let the heel come up, and that will bend the leg and start you moving into it. And just try and keep the heel up as long as you can, basically. Just sort of goes down at the last minute, and that allows the other one then to come up. The feeling is you've only ever got one heel on the ground. Because as soon as one goes down, the other one starts to come up. So you have to wait until the weight is almost completely in the foot before you can put the heel down. It's very much this alternating machine, walking basically. Right. Oh, yeah. To feel them working together as one heel goes down, the other one's coming up. So it's almost like it's one thing. Almost like you daren't allow both heels down because as soon as you do, you'll just get stuck and the movement will grind to a halt. And then it's into riding horse. Feeling, let's just have the hands on the back where we had them when we were sitting down. And just feel that. The hands are just helping the sacrum forwards and pushing it down into the legs. You're not having to use muscle, it's just the weight of the arms, really. And the more you stay in it and settle into it, the more the chest will spread and lift. And then bringing the arms into this round ward-off shape, trying to keep that feeling in the back. It's difficult. And then coming off the heels and just drop the elbows and crouch. Get this feeling that you're crouching down. So you get a bit lower and it's almost like your neck disappears, like your head sinks into your shoulders. And you become a completely different thing, a different creature. And then the heels down, but again, weight, turn, and it's, oh, you really control the descent of the heel so that when it hits the ground, you really feel it being sucked down. And then just back to riding horse again. And now just pulling yourself down and pushing yourself up. Basically just bending the legs and then straightening them. But as we bend the legs, we want to supinate, which will try and turn the soles of the feet upwards by sending the knees out. So as I go down, my knees are getting wider apart. And then as I push down, I'm pronating with the lower leg. So it's this action. You're just trying to do with your feet exactly what you're doing with the hands. So whenever we do something with the leg, either bending it or straightening it, we also want to twist it, have a feeling of that it's twisting. So the pronation or the supination. And here we're supinating as we bend the leg and then pronating as we straighten the leg. You could probably do it the other way as well, but you've got to start somewhere. So bending, and it's really rolling here. I want this real feeling of this roll in the thigh. And then my shins are rolling the other way. Like my feet are trying to come to, my toes are trying to come in as I come up. As I go down, it's my knees moving apart. And as I come up, it's my toes trying to point towards each other. Pulling, feel that twist in the thigh, and then pushing and feel that torque, that twist in the lower leg. But this is really important. The muscles, they just lay on the bone in the right way. In a sense, we want the muscles to be always tense, but not rigid, ready to fire and escape, basically. So they need to be stretched and taut so that when they kick, they instantly respond. This is the feeling. You're pulling yourself down and then driving yourself up. Just imagine something really like you're wearing a really heavy overcoat, like chain mail or something, suit of armor, and it's just really difficult. That's the sinking. So the sinking really is just imagined resistance to what you're doing. It's easiest to imagine gravity just being a lot stronger than it really is. But eventually you're resisted all the time, that you're having to push against the medium that you're within to make any movement. And that's just working like that. So you're imagining this resistance all the time. And it just makes you stronger and with a sharper spirit, so that when you don't imagine that, you move with immense speed and lightness. So from the slow heaviness comes the quick lightness. Pulling. And then I want the same action to produce the turn. So now straightening my legs and then bending my legs. I want to feel this turn coming from the combined action of the two legs. And I want to feel each leg in great detail. So in Tai Chi, your mind is very much with the engine, with the motor that's producing the movement, rather than with the movement itself. So both legs are straightening, and then to turn back to the front, I'm effectively pulling the feet together, but really it's this one that's pulling me round. Then this one starts pushing, and then instantly this one has to start pushing as well. Otherwise, I'll move too much into the one leg. I'm trying to keep my spine just still in the middle, and I'm just revolving around it. So I need a mind that is with the bigger picture, a mind that can just stand back and see this turning body around this stationary spine. Though I also need a mind that is very much with the specifics of the legs working, cooperating, and then fighting to produce this movement. Pull and push, pull and push. And then you can really see how difficult it is to keep the upper body just relaxed and let the lower body do all the work, as we so much want to turn our shoulders and our head to give us this sense that we're turning. But we want it to come, all of it to come from the legs and the waist, the legs, the hips, pushing against each other, pulling apart, pushing against each other. And then back to riding horse. And now just trying to keep the shoulders, the arms, and the head just ahead, not really moving, and doing the legs the same way as what we were doing. So I'm twisting my hips using my legs, but I'm trying not to turn the upper body. It's so difficult. So twisting the hips. Upper body is staying still, but my hips are still twisting around here, but my arms are just staying in the front. Okay. Now 1 foot forwards, and now just going backwards and forwards, feeling the torque in the legs again. So as I bend the leg and come into it, I'm supinating, I'm twisting the knee out. As I straighten the leg and empty it, I'm pronating. Feel this supinating, pronating machine. As one side supinates, the other side pronates. So it's very much like only one heel on the ground at a time. You feel this very much in the toes and the fingers, the pronating, supinating. So what they call the roof tile hand. So when I'm supinating, my hand is twisting like this with the thumb trying to go as far around as possible. And then when I pronate, it goes the other way with the thumb again trying to go as far as possible. So that's the action in the hand. You get that along with the twisting, then you'll get that feeling of the machine, this alternating machine. Pull, push, pull. And I want to really get it in the legs. I want to feel the muscles in the thighs, especially, really twisting. So this roll. And then the other foot. Just get it going first. So it's like there's two motors. There's this straightening and bending motor. So each leg is either straightening or bending. But then there's the twisting motor as well, which you just lay on top of that. You just wait until the bending, straightening motor is going, and then you start getting into the twisting, the supinating, and the pronating. And it's like it adds a third dimension, adds another dimension to the activity. Or to feel the twisting, it's pronating, supinating, also coming into the torso, especially the lower back. So you, again, it feels like you're doing this all the time because the muscles where my hands are here are just tightening and working all the time. So without, because the muscles here, they need to be as active as the legs are, and they need to be connected to the legs, which means my bum has to be in the right position, has to be in, so that this twisting action here can get through into the spinatus erectus, the muscles either side of the spine. And you'll feel it because it'll just feel like you're really waking up, almost like you're getting angry, because there's this constant battle going on between the two sides of your body. Bring it up again. And now just a bit of this one. Just feel the middle finger that your hand is revolving around. So everything that we do involves a twisting, a spiral, effectively. It's just the figure of 8. So as I go under and up the figure of 8, I'm supinating. And as I come over and down the figure of 8, I'm pronating. And then just coming off a foot, coming into the leg by twisting it, so the knee going out. So supinating to come into the leg. And then I can pick up this. So I send, as I remember, as I straighten the leg, you're pronating, like you're trying to point your little toe out. And then when you come into the leg, you're twisting the other way like this. So that is going to roll here and send the knee out, but also pull your bum in and down. And then when you bring this foot off the ground, you're in the ground and you're just stronger. Any sense of the thigh rolling this way, and you'll get this feeling that you're looking down on the world from on high. We want to be in the ground looking up. So little toe extending out and then just twisting this way as you come into the leg, and that will pull your bum in, get your tail really down into the ground. And you just got this feeling that the world is your oyster. So twist. Extend, little toe pointing, and then as you come into the foot, just twisting. Keep the heel up as long as you can. And then as it goes down, it sort of goes down because the sacrum forces it down. And then the other foot just comes up with power, with spirit, with aliveness. Out, twist. We are first and foremost creatures of spirit. That's all the work is, just waking up to that. And then the sacrum drives down, and suddenly I'm capable, even though I'm only on one leg. And I have my balance, I'm not toppling. A little toe out and then twist. And it's almost like you twist here and the elbow comes down in the twist, and it's the elbow that's driving your sacrum down. That's in Tai Chi as well. When we come into a front foot posture and you're pushing, you imagine your elbows are actually driving your sacrum forwards into that front foot. This is one of John's things. So twist and ooh. Twist. Great, looks good. Okay, so let's finish. So just first of all, just back into riding horse. Again, just get the elbows in first, like this. It's like you're pushing in Tai Chi, fingers pointing up, elbows down, and just feel as though the elbows are just helping your sacrum come forwards into the position it needs to be. So that really you can just naturally and easily just reach down into the feet. And then from there, you just round out the arms. Just feel how difficult that is, because as soon as you get this round shape here, you're wanting to sort of lean forwards and the bum wants to go back. So it's like, first of all, we need to be the animal before we can become the tree. Really just bringing feet up. Don't let them straighten. And feel the front of the leg, the thighs really, trying to tighten to lengthen me and push me up and straighten the legs. But the back of the legs wanting to bend. You can either feel that as them just really like heavy buttocks, wanting to sort of just flow down. Or you can just bring a bit of bite into the hamstrings. So they're a bit tight and they won't let the legs straighten. Again, you've then got the battle between the hamstring and the quad. So the muscles either side of the bone, there's always a slight tussle going on if they have the correct tone. So I should be able to just switch my mind from here to here and just feel how it's a completely different mind. And it's so much easier when you get one doing the opposite of the other, one side of your body doing the opposite. It's more difficult to sort of see it rationally, to see what's going on, because it's like this sort of flowing machine. But it's much easier to get into the energy and then to allow the energy to generate a bit of spirit, which is what we're wanting all the time.